Oh gosh, I went live and did not have the stage on. Okay, so hello guys. I am Ruby Diana Thomas. Um, and why I am important is because I was adopted by a billionaire. I was adopted by a billionaire, a great billionaire. Okay, and I think he's past a billionaire. Okay, so I was adopted by the people that run the United States, Canada, and the Virgin Islands. Like I was adopted by some very wealthy people. So this is what happens. I'm a dark child, um, which I was adopted by an albino, a dark albino. So when you look it up on Google, you cannot Google it for whatever reason. They don't want to make Billy Thomas be known or dark albinos be known. So what happens is that we are usually people that come from families that are usually light. So my family comes from the Netherlands. I think they're Dutch and Jewish. So my family comes from Dutch Jewish people. And if you look at like Bosch or Stephen Fisher, I don't know what to call him, but it's Bosch and then Stephen Fisher, StephenFischer. He's like the artist that like shows like all these different layers of color of people, right? So people think traditionally that albinos are just light, like they're pale, but that's not the truth. Albinos are also very dark, and they are the opposite of the lighter albinos. So the lighter albinos come from African descent, and the darker albinos come from usually like families that are usually lighter. So in Billy's case, his family is royalty, and they know that he is the queen. He is the real Queen of England's son. So that's what it is. It's like so their family is dark albinos. So dark albinos are absolutely perfect, y'all. So they have 20/20 vision. They usually have very white teeth, very white eyes. They are not very prone to sickness or anything like that. They are very sturdy people. Like it is the perfection of a person. The pale albinos are actually the opposite. So that's what it is. So it's like they have reddish brown hair. They usually have vision problems. Um, what else? And that's it. It's like that's what happens. It's like usually if they just have a dark child, it's not because they were sneaking out with some black guy. It's usually just the same thing. It's just it happens. It's one in a million. You see what I'm saying? So um I was adopted by William Billy Thomas, which he is also known as Buckwheat. Him and his family are very great. He had two albino daughters, Sadie and Corletta Thomas. I don't know if Sadie's name was really Eva, but I'm gonna call her Sadie in this situation. Sadie Thomas and Corletta Thomas, and they were by Miss Theopolis Nichols. Okay, so y'all, woo, it's a lot, right? So they own a lot of land, and some of the land was given to them through a lawsuit because Billy's mother was a doll, and I think they started this after the war. So she was a doll, and what happens is that the reason why um, it's important that she was a doll is because she was part of the Dutchtown clock, I believe. I think that's what it's called. I don't actually know. It's just what I know from just what I know. Okay, so the Dutchtown clock is like I think it's part of Sweden. I think it's Swedish or something like that. Anyway, so the Dutchtown clock is just like it's enslavement of people, which now people here in St. Louis have stolen the pieces of the clock in Texas and enslaved themselves. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So what happens is that people pop out at different times of the day and they do dances and different things like that. Well, it's something that's like it's really hereditary enslavement because we will actually mimic our ancestors. So they can actually at any time you will know whether the person is Dutch because they can be controlled by these pieces of the clock. So it'll be like they could be like walking down the street. Well, maybe it's time for them to walk back into 6 o'clock. You see what I'm saying? So it's not something that's fun. It's not funny. Jewish people, some Jewish people are Dutch too. They have Dutch heritage. So some of them also can be enslaved by the clock pieces. Um, if the person is not Dutch, this happened last time. If the person is not Dutch, what happens is that when the clock controls them, when the piece controls them, when they are trying to go through the steps, they could end up mimicking animals or having adult retardation. If they do it too many times, they will start to look like the animals, different things like that. So that's what it is. It's like, that's why it's important for people to know. This was something that was really also used to make television and radio, so that's why they still use it. A lot of times we keep them in our houses, but we keep them like against the walls, like the walls, and we still own them. And it's like they're very it's something that you don't want to happen to another person, you see, because then if it was in our house and we told you to be there, then we would be responsible for it. So we don't put anybody in our homes. Like we haven't put anybody in the homes where these devices existed. So that's what it is. They are derived from William Billy Thomas's family. And his family also helped with people during the Depression, the Great Depression. They also helped during the Holocaust. They have helped like so many people. Like that is it. They have not helped with slavery though. And with the stalking of me, you will learn that you will learn why. Because um, Black Americans tend to try to use the devices to get more information, and then they will stalk our family as well. So in the matter of stalking me, they will try to be mean or hold us back. Well, the devices are all around the world. So when they do this, then they will cause other people to do these things as well. Also, white Americans, they will use the devices to have conversations, especially after they've used the device too long and have started to mimic animals and started to show adult retardation. So, what does this have to do with me? So, I'm a kid and I'm dark and I'm left at the hospital. For whatever reason, I don't know. I don't know my family side of the story and I don't care, but I'm their boss. I'm the boss now. I'm the boss. So, I don't know their side of the story. So, what happens is that there's a $3 million reward for coming to claim me as their child, right? And so with this, Billy's family is very, very educated. Such names as Carl Jung, such names as I don't know. I know Carl Jung is his family. I'm not joking. It's just so relatable. Um, so he has this hospital, and I'm there, and he also has a hospital here. So I'm there, and I actually get adopted by this man. So you would think that if you saw him that, oh my God, he just plays in the band, or he just does this, or he just does that. But he is so awesome. Like he is such a great person. And he doesn't have to have the spotlight. This is buckwheat. This is grown up buckwheat, right? So what happens is it's like the first thing they do is they get me and they get my hair done and all this different stuff, and I meet Stevie Wonder. So all the people that I'm around are just like people who do music, like so Lionel Richie and Marvin Gaye and the Jacksons and all these different people. So we're around, and he uses the device sometimes to record, but just for the shows. It's not something that we use in the house all the time or anything like that. It's just so we'll have stuff for television and radio because they own a network and a radio station. So when we get to this point, right? So we find out that I'm gonna be with Stevie, right? So when I meet Stevie, this is when Billy figures that I am a genius. So when I meet Stevie, I'm like 9 or 10 months old. And I have like all these questions going out through my brain. Like, he's blind. So how does he see? How does he do this? How does he do that? And it's recorded. So Billy knows it's coming from me. It's like I have the device next to me, and Billy is able to understand me through the device. He's like, this girl is very smart. She is very, very smart. So after that, I'm just with Billy's family, right? So what else do I remember? So some things I remember are like the houses, like how we travel, how we live in hotels. He owns a lot of hotels. He just came out with Monopoly. He owns like a bag company in Germany, which is a brown paper bag company. They usually wax the bags and they still use them in Whole Foods. What else do we? What else? They did do, I think they do like all the little stuff like scotch tape and stuff like that. Like it's like they have like a lot of like, it's just like the stuff that Billy's family, that him and his mother started to make money off of, or just like common products that we use anyway. So teaching supplies, that's like pretty much like the stick it notes, paper clips, stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? I don't know about paper clips, but I know about sticky notes. So that's what it is. So Billy Thomas, William Billy Thomas, was just a genius. He was a genius. That was actually what it was. It's like that is the actual truth. So you Google dark albinos and they're like, we don't know. You do know about them. People tell you about them all the time. Doctors can tell you that they have 20/20 vision, great teeth, they have white eyes, they have great fingernails, all those different things. Very smart. They're usually very intelligent. So um this is the situation. So what happens is that somebody, I believe from Roots, which I'm thinking because I'm being stalked by this person, which is the man that played Chicken George. He probably kept a device or something, because the devices should be returned. Like it's not something that you get to keep. It just holds a story, and you can write a movie or you can write a song or whatever, but it has to be returned. That's what everybody's saying. You have to return that back to the family. Like it's not something that you keep. Everybody's telling these people this. So the people that have a hold of them, they will follow me and try to make me retell the story again. It's like, well, I'm recording now, but I'm not the person that has to retell you anything, because that's not your business. It's like, it's personal business. This is personal business now, because now this is for my show, which is Ruby. And Ruby was supposed to be the Cosby Show. And I'm going to tell you guys how I got to that point. So what happens is that when I'm at the hospital and I have a $3 million reward, once they don't pick me up, Billy keeps the reward and lets me invest it inside of my own companies. So with this, I get to like, so they have like tons of books, like I think all their books and stuff for her in St. Louis. So they have tons of books. They have like so many properties, all these different things. So um with the reward, I come up with first the iPhone, because Billy carries a Santa phone, which is a phone in a bag, and it really is a cell phone. He keeps the phone parts inside the bag. So it's like that's what it is. It's called the Santa phone, right? That's the first thing. Okay, so when Billy asked me, he's like, "So what do you think we should do?" I'm like, "We should put it all together." So we're gonna, on the Santa phone, on the new cell phone, we are gonna put um we're going to put the calculator, we're going to put the compass, and we're going to put what are all these little, this is all stuff that Billy's family invented. And it's basically a royal family, and they are dark. They are not slaves. So some people saw the pictures and they assumed that we were slaves. So um the calculator, the compass, the clock, and the weather. You understand? So that's all the stuff that would have been here, that would have just been on the iPhone. Okay. So that is what we thought of. So then he was like, okay. So I was like, I don't like going through the library. I don't like going to the library. And I don't mind looking on the bookshelves or whatever, but it's the card catalog. I don't mind looking through the card catalog either. It's just like I get to a certain section of the library, and it's like just science. So that's it, or poetry or whatever. Which I like the way that the library is organized. It's just that sometimes I just want to be able to type it in and find it. So that's what it was. So that's what comes up with internet. That's how I come up with internet. And then I also came up with Amazon, because I just want to do that with the books too. I want to type in the book and find it. And card catalog online, right? That's intranet. But I came up with the internet. So this is all the stuff that we're discussing in this room, right? So then I'm already doing Ruby. He's already recording stuff for Ruby. right? Which is going to be the Cosby Show. And they could have told them to lie too, y'all. I'm not joking. So they were supposedly looking for me. I guess they were trying to figure out how they could kill me because I also have a device, like I have a tracking device inside of me. So then it's like a GPS, right? So that's how they came up with GPS too, because they could always find me for real. So what else? I think that's it, right? So in Google, right? In Google, like how they search the internet, which at that time, like AOL was now, but AOL, Google, whatever, it's just like you type it in. I want to have a database where I can search for information, basically. I don't want to always have to like go and look through the card catalog. So those were my ideas that I came up with. So they also had the tagline, well, what is it? Well, that's just Ruby or something. There goes Ruby, or that's just Ruby. What was this tagline? I don't know what it was. Was I already recording in Canada? I don't know. Well, that's Ruby for you. Well, that's Ruby for you. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, it's so much. It's so much. So this is my life with Billy, the Coletta, Sadie, and their family, right? So where am I at? I'm at the point where so now those are investments, all right? So now let's get to the point where we hang out with family. So when we hang out with family, like the first place I remember is I was like in the basement at this house. They were trying to say that the house is abandoned, but they held us hostage, so we were not able to get back to our properties. So we actually lived at this house. So I remember this house the most because I used to go in the basement, and the basement is unfinished, and it's a furnace down there. So I used to go in the basement and spin in front of this furnace. I would spin in front of the furnace, and I would try to go up one side of the stairs. So in the middle of the house is a pink room, and so my cousins are like, Ruby, come upstairs. And it's like, I can't come upstairs. I'm so disappointed. I'm disappointed because if I go up the stairs, it's going to be another part of the house, and it's not the side of the house that I want to be on. And they're like, Ruby, it's okay. You can still come upstairs, right? So you would think that I was doing this for television. I'm not. Like, this is just me, myself, and I, just in a point of haste. But there are devices in the house. So Ruby, come up the stairs. I can't come up the stairs. I'll be disappointed. I'll be so disappointed if I come up those stairs. Y'all, I sat on the stairs and just went to sleep. I believe somebody carried me finally up the stairs and put me on the couch to sleep. But I was just really disappointed because I was doing it. I would just go downstairs and just spin and then run. So that was it because we used to be on the carousel. So the carousel is like, this is one of the places where we started to be stalked. But Sadie wasn't there. It was Angela Nicole Thomas. This is my cousin. So this is Billy's granddaughter. So actually, she's my niece. I'm sorry, that's my niece. I've been saying my cousin for so long. That is not the truth. She is my niece because I'm the daughter. So she is my niece. She's older than me though. So we're on the carousel, and one of the first stalkers comes is Rita Doty Perry. She stayed in my life the whole time, y'all, just holding me hostage, okay? So Rita Doty Perry, she comes and she's like, get up so I can sit and talk to my friend. So I get up and I go somewhere, and I realize now that it was really Angela Nicole Thomas that was sitting there, and she was sitting there with her arms like this, and she was leaning forward, and her hair just was so pretty, y'all. Oh my God, her hair was like Sadie's hair. So at that point, it was like kind of short too. So her hair was like Sadie's hair, and she sat there, and I guess she just started trying to act like she was talking to her, and she wasn't. Like she really wasn't talking to her because we don't know her. So Angela Nicole Thomas has seen her before because when she tries to come pick me up, she always comes when nobody else is there. I'll just be at the house with this person that I will later say that she's the surrogate, right? So I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, that's my first time meeting her. She didn't do anything crazy, but it's just the fact that they want to use the devices to mess with us, okay? So the next time we were being stalked, I was with Sadie. So Sadie was in the parade. And this is something that's very important because the devices are maybe in Canada. And we come here and the devices in the car. Right. So then if I come here and I haven't seen some of you guys and the devices are not like in your houses, whatever, I will not be able to visibly see you. until somebody that knows me sees you. And I am adopted, right? So my family really is still in Canada, okay? So some of my family could be here in St. Louis too. I don't know. But my family really is in Canada. So I'm adopted and I don't see the people. So now we all have to meet up, right? And I also have to take something for me to be able to see the people for some reason. Like it's like I think they gave me something to be able to see people too. Or it's just for me recording for television. So anyway, I can't visibly see them like y'all, they would be invisible to us. So we were in a parade, and Billy's daughter Sadie was in the parade too. So it was me, Billy, and Sadie. And they were just like, wave, wave, Ruby, wave. You gotta wave. You gotta wave, Ruby. So when everything stopped, somebody was like messing with Sadie. Like Sadie was like just doing her face like that, which you would notice that Noelle Bush, she took a picture like that too. I guess they were trying to make fun of her, but it's because somebody is in our face. Like it's like a person that we cannot see is in our face. It's not a joke. So when the person kidnapped me, that's what she showed me. She would be like this in my face. She would just be like, when she was like helping me record for the Cosby Show, that's what she would be doing. And I'm just like, what is going on? You see what I'm saying? That's the day that she hit me in my lips. And Beyonce put that in the song, right? She put that in the song. And then also you get Claire who's talking back because I started talking back to her. Like, who are you? What are you doing that for? Like, don't do that to me. I'm putting the stuff away. So anyway, that's the end of that part, okay? So anyway, so that was it. She was stalking Sadie, okay? Sadie is Billy's daughter. So Billy goes out of town, right? And so Sadie and the family, we meet up, we meet again, okay? So at this point, I'm probably like 4 or 5 years old, right? So we are all in the kitchen, right? And the device is there. So they can talk on a device. The saddest thing about it is that you also smell the people on the device too. So it'll be like, and it's used for television. Television does stink. Okay. So the person was talking and she's like, who's gonna want me? That's how she said it too. Who's gonna want me? And so Sadie is like, what do you mean who's gonna want you? With those pretty eyes and those big old legs. And it's like, Sadie, that is not me. Sadie, that is not me. I'm just telling Sadie that's not me. Sadie got started and she was just telling everybody, just tell her something about herself. Like, tell her you're going to give her something that she already has herself. So that's what she's telling everybody. So everybody's like, well, I give you my smile. And you know what I'm saying? And then they'll go around the room. And then somebody, well, I'll give you my nose. I'll give you some recipes. You see what I'm saying? They were just like telling me stuff that they would just give to me. So the person assumed that it was like I was going to get all this stuff. They used to call me Tiny, not as a nickname. They just called me Tiny because I was small. So anyway, they just like, she's so tiny. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what it is. I was just a small child because I was still in the car seat and I would be walking. And I guess people really thought I couldn't walk because I was so short. I was so small. So they at the house and they were saying all this different stuff. And then Lady comes in. So Lady comes in the house and she's like telling her, yeah, just tell her something. Just tell her something you're going to give her, Lady. Just tell her something you're going to give her. Just tell her something she already got. And Lady, she came up with something later, but I was really paying attention to Lady. So when the woman started talking again, Sadie was in the kitchen with Lady. And everybody else, we were just in the kitchen. I was like, Sadie, that is not me. So the woman's like, who's gonna want me? And I'm just an orphan child. And Sadie is like, oh my God, I got to get off of this. And she hits the butt, gets off of it. So in the kitchen, they just start discussing, like, make sure you tell Billy. Okay. Make sure you tell Billy that somebody's on there. Okay. So Sadie later has to go. Sadie is working on projects because they own a water company and they own an electric company. So Sadie is working on these projects to on these projects for us to have, so for our family to have a neighborhood in St. Louis. So it's like they have water and they have power. Y'all, the stuff is still on. And so Sadie was also working to cover up where the wells were and where the power stations were. So she was putting houses, they were actually building houses around the power stations and around the wells. So I'm living in one of the houses now where the wells are. And when they kidnapped us, they put us in a house where the well is. And then it was another woman who was a hooker. Her name was Brandy, and she lived in the house in Alton where a well was. Okay. So when Sadie was at the house where the well, I don't know if it's a well there, but Sadie was over there just getting stuff ready, and they moved the steps now, y'all, because that's what I'm noticing now. So we were there at this house. The woman who was stalking her, the two women that were stalking her are really heavy women. Okay. The woman is like, I guess, in Sadie's face, and we cannot see her. I could not see the woman, and I knew Sadie couldn't see it because she was like she was doing that face again. Sadie was coming down the steps. Sadie falls through the steps. Somebody catches Sadie quickly, and Sadie is like sitting on the steps. So then I heard somebody say, well, yeah, I lost my child because she broke her neck through the steps or something like that. So I guess they actually were too heavy to be around her and made her fall through the steps. Y'all, I'm talking about within that moment, that's how Sadie was lost. So they used the device to take Sadie with them, and they broke her neck. So Sadie was alive when she came up through the steps. So then all of a sudden it was like a guy named Brian there. He wasn't there. He was saying he was going to go get the ambulance or something. So he went to go get the ambulance, and the heavy lady went on and one of them went on the ambulance, and the second one, I was still just over there playing with something, and the second one, she was there, and she stuck her head up through the steps and was like trying to look. She was looking like a bird or something, right? So I was like, what is going on? I didn't understand, y'all, because I'm young, right? But I recorded the whole thing. Like, if you go through the stuff, somebody gonna fall through the stairs, and it's probably because they were like in her face trying to mess with her, okay? So now I am kidnapped. And that is when the rest of this story begins, y'all. That is the end of this for today. That is it. After that, I was kidnapped. Do you understand? My family was kidnapped after that. After that, all of Billy Thomas's family was kidnapped. And I'll tell you the next part next time. Have a good day.